pop music's more about strings, which is kind of a funny turn of events.
Where do you hear strings in pop music?
Arcade Fire. The Stars, the Social Scene, Feist, there's tons of strings, tons, everywhere. Owen Pallett, he's the first guy I've seen create music from scratch using loop pedals, where the music was about the music and not about the loop pedal. Awesome. He plays violin. He has a little Casio, looks like a little Casio keyboard, and a ton of looping pedals. And he writes music, like really good music. The guy's an artist. He's great.
But at the same time, you play a massive range of styles of music. Is there a favorite that you have, or is there?
Yeah, I'm strongest at bluegrass and country. Something sort of sad about it, and it's slow enough that you can kind of really hear the subtleties in all the notes. It's very happy and sad sounding at the same time. It can go any way. It can go nasty, it can go pretty, it can go kind of resplendent, it can go dark, it can go lots of ways.
Tell me about your wife.
I met her when she started taking some fiddle lessons from me, but she quit pretty quickly because she didn't like what I was teaching her. And to be honest, I wasn't a great teacher back then. This was like 4 years ago. And she gave me a book for my birthday, right after she stopped taking lessons from me. I guess probably to show me some hard feelings. But I didn't really think much about it. And then 3 months later, I read the book, and I really liked the book. And I kind of.
What was it?
It's called Rats.
Is it a novel?
No, it's a very interesting book. It's a very, very good read. It reads almost like a novel. It's about a guy who becomes obsessed with rats in New York City, and he follows them as an anthropologist would, or as a biologist would. But in the course of it, he ends up uncovering all this sort of underground history of New York, like the history of the booze cans and the early subway. He follows the rats into the subway and then starts talking about how the subway was built and the people who built the subway and people who financed it, like hundreds of years ago. Really interesting shit. So I thought, oh, this is cool. So I asked her on a date, and
After 3 months?
I hadn't seen her in 3 months.
What was it about that book that made you think there might be something there?
Well, because I thought it was a really clever book, and I really liked it, and I didn't know and I didn't know if I kind of would identify with her on an intellectual level, and then I married her.
So how long have you been together?
This is our 4th year.
Do you ever play together?
Yeah, we jam together all the time. She loves old-time fiddle. She kind of turned me onto it, like Appalachian-style fiddle, as opposed to bluegrass, kind of one of the precursors to bluegrass.
So with all these different styles that have come and contributed to the long and twisted journey of your musical career, what do you think might happen next?
I've decided that I kind of want to eventually do an album. Like I did it for my first solo album last year. When I wrote all these fiddle tunes. And I like it. I think it's a nice album. But it's very all over the map. And I kind of set out for it to be that way. Just that had so many different influences, but I'm trying to zero in on kind of what I am most predisposed towards playing. And I think it's kind of old Southern stuff. So I want to do an album eventually. It doesn't have to happen for 10 years. I don't care. But eventually, I just want to do an album where I'm writing all these kind of Southern style old airs and stuff like that. I mean, they're original melodies, but they sound totally like they're 60 years old for whatever that's worth. I mean, I don't know how much of a market there is for it, but I know other fiddle players will love to do it. And people always find it a little nostalgic. It makes people, kind of slows people down a little, which isn't always a bad thing.
Somewhere in the night, she's running for the border with an agate cameo that's hidden deep inside her pack. Imagining the days when another made her own run through the mountains to the border with an army at her back. And these lives form a line, these ties are stronger than time, buried deep in her mind. She met him in a camp right beside the border, but so many years have passed. Now there's just a cameo. Granddaughter's grown.
For more information on John Showman's music and gig schedule, go to johnshowman.com. For a complete list of the artists and tracks used in this podcast, go to the John Showman page at totemfigures.com. I'm TJ Daw, and this has been a Totem Figures podcast.
And the days drift on by, a lazy sun through the sky, reconnect by and by, and these moments define what you hold in your mind, and your perception of time, your perception of time moves painfully slowly when you're not quite home and you know where to go. Ghost and cameo. Somewhere in the dawn, she's lying at the border. He never made it to the phone, so they had to let her go. Free from tyranny, their lives just across the border. Gently holds a cameo. Now the two of them are home, and these lives form a line, the ties are stronger than time. You've gotta make up your mind, find a reason why, and these moments define what you hold in your mind. Your perception of time, your perception of time moves painfully slowly when you're not quite home and you know where to go.